Go ahead.
All right, here they come.
Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome. Hello, happy Wednesday. That's okay. So we're just waiting for a couple people to roll on in. All right. All right, this might be us. This might be the party. Fantastic. All right, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Director Gathering's Digital Town Hall. We're so excited to welcome you all here and joining us this evening as we talk some exciting stuff about DG's future, past and present. Let's just get started. I'm ready to get a whole party started. We were talking beforehand about how I wish there was snacks to hand out. I wish I could hand you all little snacks. So pretend that I am. You can decide what snack it is and tell me in the chat what you would want to eat at the party. But I invite you to. But I'm Vanessa Oboihi. I'm a local director here in Philly, having lots of fun making weird stuff with Pig Iron Theater Company and some other devisers in town. But I've been a longtime friend and supporter of Directors Gathering, one of the country's only organizations providing true community and resources just for theater directors. It's so special that we have that in our local area. So we're excited that you could join us this evening as we welcome Directors Gathering into a brand new chapter. Jill Harrison, our founder, is passing the torch to CC Wright. Sad tears. But we're so excited for CC to be stepping up in the ranks as the new executive director. CC's had a big vision that she's been crafting up for the organization. And in the spirit of community, we're super eager to share that with you. So that's why we've gathered you all here tonight. But firstly, some words from Jill, who I said, is the founder of DG. Jill's a producer and a connector who loves building community throughout the arts, and this is something that has sprung from that. She holds a MFA in directing from Temple and is a former freelance professor and director. Her collaborators are her husband, who is the other founder of Directors Gathering, Tom, and their daughter Stella. And so I'll let Jill kind of give us a little introduction.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. Chocolate covered almonds, please. That would be my kind request. I love that. That's such a fun prompt. So I have just a little some words to share. Some tribute to what has come before and some tribute to what's to come and who's to come. So without further ado, and I'm going to read 11 years of community with and for theater directors, 11 years of making space for those who constantly make space for others. Ooh, I'm getting emotional. This is strange. 11 years of amplifying directors, their artistry, and their humanity. 11 years of elevating peer advocacy and what a director-centric ecosystem can be and do to meaningfully connect directors. 11 years of being a perpetual ghost light for the directors, existing to remind them that they have a beacon that genuinely cares about them and their greater community. It has been an absolute honor launching and guiding DG these past 11 years. I am deeply grateful for each and every director, guest instructor, guest artist, collaborator, donor, board member, and team member who have helped DG gather for community with directors. It is also my absolute honor to introduce CC Wright officially, publicly, as the new executive director of Directors Gathering. Not only is CC an incredible artist, visionary leader, an extraordinary person. She also emulates everything that DG cherishes: community, peer advocacy, and mutual resource sharing. Through her work as an arts entrepreneur, a theater maker, an arts administrator, a gardener, sometime please ask her about her garden, it's spectacular, and now DG's leader. Cece, in her work as Director of Membership and Engagement for DG since 2019, she constantly reminded us why and how we gather with and for directors, making the core efforts of the organization more meaningful, honest, aware, accountable, and sustainable. DG is truly where it is today because of Cece's monumental work and faith in the power and value of director-centric community. DG and the community DG builds with and for theater directors has a bright future because of Cece. And I now turn it over to Cece.
Well, before you go, Jill, thank you so much for that. And Jill and I got to actually check in person this week, which was very lovely to be able to sit outside and chat with you just for a bit. And I'll say this briefly, and then I'll go into my whole thing. But you know, it's very special and important that you know, considering Jill's history with Directors Gathering, not only as, you know, the outgoing ED, but also as its founder and carrying it for so many years, the work and seeing so many iterations of what DG can be. And so I'm deeply grateful that you are here to support me and to be a bit of a coach, which, as I shared, I heard some growling in the background. So I may have dog barking in the background just for awareness, but we're all okay over here. How important it is to have those sorts of folks in your midst as coaches, you know, and thinking of it in terms of someone to help me get my ego out of the way so that I can do my best at whatever it is I'm doing. And so I just wanted to say that to you, Jill.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, such a special transition. And I'm so grateful for you and for it.
All right. Well, I also notes, and so I'm really excited to join everyone tonight. It's really good to be in community with you all. First, I want to take a moment to express more gratitude. So I'll start with our most recent former board. I'm grateful for their services. Those members ended their terms in late 2024 and helped to usher in this major leadership transition and organizational transition, namely my being named as executive director, DG moving from a 3-person ultra part-time contracted staffing model to a 1-person, me, staffing, to Culture Trust, which is based here in Philadelphia, as a fiscal sponsor. I'm also grateful for 11 years of DG. I'm grateful for the Transition Advisory Committee, also known as TAC, and they've been instrumental in helping with this transition over the last few months, some of whom are present tonight: Vanessa, Christine, who is our wizard, self-proclaimed wizard tonight, who helped coordinate or really coordinated tonight's event. Bree, Monica, Marcia, Jackie, Tom, and Jill, of course. I'm grateful for Cheyenne and Jarrell for sharing their words and encouragement later on in our program tonight. I'm specifically grateful for Jill and Bree. I could not imagine our trio. There was a time where I couldn't imagine our trio not being in formation like we have been for the past 5+ years, but I'm grateful to both of you for your support. I'm also deeply grateful that we are just in community tonight, especially in light of what's going on in our country right now. Gathering is what we do here, and it is so important. And every day, at least from my perspective, it becomes more and more clear how essential it is for us to gather. Our ability to embrace our individual and collective humanity is unequally threatened daily. And that effort is really designed to stop our liberation from the systems that were designed to keep us divided. So I'm grateful for being in community with you tonight. Give me just 1 second. So as we gather here tonight, I want to acknowledge that DG is operating on the unceded land of the Lenni Lenape people. We honor them and all Indigenous caretakers of these lands, past, present, and future. And we also acknowledge the legacy of colonization embedded in the technology we use every day. This acknowledgement begs of us to answer the question, what is our shared responsibility in making good use of this time together into the people and the lands that we operate on? I want to acknowledge our community agreements to take care of yourself, to demonstrate your good intent, to speak from your own experiences, to understand that collectively we know a lot, and to ask clarifying questions. I'm really looking forward to that part. And finally, I want to invoke my personal hope for my faithfulness to the vision of DG, to creating a theater director-centric community that fosters a vibrant, dynamic, caring, and inclusive ecosystem for theater directors. This is the vision I see of a just and abundant future. And that's what I hope will sustain us as we build the next chapter of DG. And I'm gonna ask if Christine, if you could go ahead and start sharing my slides, I'd appreciate it. And I'll keep talking. So tonight, in the brief but very cherished time I have with you, I want to share what DG is. For those of you who may need a refresher, would like a reminder, my role in this next chapter as executive director, what 2025 looks like for us and how we are setting the stage for long-term success and how you can engage in this effort. Next slide, please. So as Jill shared, DG was founded March 17th, 2014, by her and a group of collaborators who recognized a major gap. Theater directors needed a consistent community, a space to practice sharing resources, learning from one another, and supporting each other in navigating this craft in the theater industry. So our mission, therefore, is rooted in the facilitation of three main tenets: community, so building and facilitating regular spaces for connection among theater directors; resource sharing, sharing tools, knowledge, and access to opportunities; and third, pure advocacy, creating a culture of collective uplift and support toward positive change. And our vision, as I mentioned before, is to create this sustained lifelong journey in directing for theater directors. DG is not a fellowship. It's not a training program necessarily. We're not a union. All of those spaces are important and necessary in their own way. The DG is a space, it's a concept, community, practice for directors in all career stages, experience levels, artistic backgrounds, and identities. The concern of DG is what happens between those career milestones, right? Between fellowships, jobs, and productions. It's about sustaining this lifelong journey for a theater director. Next slide, please. I won't go into my full bio, and Jill shared some facts about me, but you can go to our website if you want to read more. But what I want to share with you tonight is this. I am here because I believe with my full chest in the power of this community, and I am ready to lead us through this next chapter. In a workshop I attended with No Dream Deferred NOLA, which is an organization that supports with mixed theater, but also supports efforts towards diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. I was introduced to this definition of power, which is demonstrated on your screen as an equation, which spoke to me. Power equals access to resources plus influence. But what this definition, or what this meant to me in terms of a definition, is that power is the ability to access and mobilize resources, whether they're financial, social, or informational, combined with the capacity to influence decisions and outcomes. And I believe that community, shared effort, shared vision, shared practice, support of one another is truly our superpower. My role is to harness our community's power to facilitate connections, to mobilize those resources, advocate for the systems directors need to thrive, particularly in spaces that don't intend for us to do so. Next slide, please. So what does 2025 look like for us? Well, we're laying the foundation for a stronger, more sustainable DG with 3 major areas of focus. To ensure DG's long-term sustainability, we're focusing on key structural foundations in 2025, which include building a board of advisors by next month. So the Board of Advisors will provide strategic guidance, fundraising support, and ensure that we stay director-centered and community-guided. Developing a 3-year strategic plan by late fall of 2025. The strategic plan is something that I'll develop with the support of the Board of Advisors, charting our growth and impact from 2026 to 2028, setting a clear, actionable roadmap for the future. Expanding our fundraising efforts. So we're moving toward sustainable funding models. That includes securing multi-year grants and support, expanding our network of recurring donors, and developing more diverse revenue streams. And finally, we're actively building relationships with institutions and other leaders who can help us realize our vision and expand our impact. Next slide, please. The second area of focus is on our programming. So this summer, we're bringing back the salon with the Summer Salon series. This will be 6 virtual peer-led discussions designed for theater directors. But here's what makes this a little different than how we've done things in the past. We want these conversations to be truly led by our community. So that means we'll be opening a public call for proposals from volunteers who want to facilitate these casual discussions. So what are these salons going to be about? It's really going to be whatever the directors need them to be. So from pressing industry topics to artistic musings to simply checking in with fellow directors about career growth and development and how they've been navigating the current environment. So this space is for directors by directors, obviously with my support. So look out in April next month for the proposal submission opportunity. Next up, we're planning the return of the DG convening, taking place over the first 2 weekends in November, November 1st and 2nd, and 8th and 9th. Go ahead and put that on your calendar. This will be a 4-day hybrid experience featuring director-led programming, reflecting on needs and interests of our community. So just like the Salon series, we'll be opening a public call for proposals for workshops, seminars, and discussions. And that proposal process will likely happen in September with more details on the theme and focus of the convening. But for now, keep the dates on your calendar and start thinking about what you might want to bring into the space. And lastly, in terms of programming, we're excited to pilot a one-on-one customized consulting service designed specifically with freelance theater directors in mind. We know that in addition to peer support and group conversations, things like the salon, there are moments when directors need targeted professional guidance, whether it's reviewing portfolios, talking about pitching productions to producers, applying for schools or fellowships, navigating networking in an industry that frankly often lacks clear hiring pathways. And yes, there are experienced directors who will offer advice when asked, but what happens when you don't know who to ask, when you don't have direct access to an institution or a mentor? This consulting service is being designed to fill that gap. So offering structured, outcome-driven sessions tailored to individual directors' needs. So this will be a fee-for-service opportunity with the goal of making directorial guidance more accessible, actionable, and impactful. Next slide, please. So we're reimagining DG's membership this year to provide clear benefits and more value while ensuring long-term sustainability. And as you may already know, we took a pause on operations for the membership early this year to consider our path forward. So what we're looking at for the remainder of 2025 are as 2 tiers to a membership. A basic membership which is a free membership, access to curated digital resources, access to directory of members, and discounts on the salons and the convening. The second tier is a premium individual membership, which is essentially everything in the basic tier, free access to all salons, discounts on convening registration, and a bit expanded access to DG recordings and exclusive digital materials. And as a part of that, we're also offering a group option for the premium membership. And this would be ideal academic institutions or even a collective of directors looking to support DG, participate, while also lowering their individual costs. Next slide, please. So you can see on the screen there the different packages that I described. The timeline for the membership launch, looking at March 21st, this Friday, opening up the basic tier option for early signups with instant access to resources. In early April, option, and just so you know, get a preview of what we're doing this year in terms of membership internally. We'll continue to take the time to assess and refine the model for a fuller membership reboot. We're looking at that in January of 2026. And this structure makes DG, we believe, and hopefully more accessible while ensuring directors get real value from being part of this community. Next slide, please. All right, so DG is a community-driven effort, and there are tangible ways to be a part of this work. So if you're a theater director looking to engage that way, you can join the board of advisors. We have several people that have already showed interest. We are still recruiting, so if you're interested in that, please absolutely fill out an interest form, and you can access that on our website. Christine may be dropping a link in the chat for that as well if you're interested, or if you know someone who might be interested. Submit a proposal for the salon series or convening when those become available, and sign up for membership when that opens up. If you're a collaborator, theater company, other type of supporter, I would ask you to commit to multi-year giving. Become a sponsor for the convening or the salon series or the pilot of the consulting service that we're looking to start later this fall. Facilitate a connection between DG and potential partners. I would love to talk to new people, to re-engage with folks that we have worked with in the past as well, and give, donate, and that really helps to subsidize our membership and our operational support. Next slide, please. So DG is at a critical turning point. I will say, it's easy to, or it could be easy to critique what isn't working, but much harder to build something lasting. And that's what we are doing here. And I hope we do that together. My commitment as ED is very clear, I believe. That is working with the Board of Advisors to build a stable infrastructure for now and future growth. Advocating for theater directors at all experience levels and backgrounds, partnering with values-aligned organizations and individuals, and creating consistent engagement and transparency. And I'm hoping that tonight is a clear example of that. So, if you believe in the importance of theater directors, and I know that you do because you're here, of this craft, our sustainability, our collective future, I invite you to take action with us today. As I said before, I know that our power is in this virtual room and with everyone who's listening to the recording of this meeting. And I look forward to activating that power to our collective benefit. Last slide, please. I want to thank you for your time and attention. I'm offering my email address there on the screen to connect outside of this meeting. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Vanessa.
Amazing. Can we give like a little round of applause? I know we might not be able to hear it, but like let's give a round of applause to Cece for that vision. I think it was really special. We've got something really special here. There are just not a lot of organizations um, who are giving resources to directors. We are the leaders in the American theater. We're responsible for a whole swath of other artists. And so sometimes leadership also needs resources. Leadership also needs help, needs community, and crafting a space that is just for that is not only can not only be life-changing for the director, but also, the reverberation across the field. I think the impact can be so wide. So Cece, thank you for that inspiring vision. It's really going to take DG into a bright new chapter. And so in the spirit of community, what kind of a party would it be without a toast? So I'd like to introduce Cheyenne Barboza, an award-winning director and playwright from Waterbury, Connecticut. She has her BFA in directing, playwriting, and production from UArts, and is a founder of the culture and trivia experience Black Game Night. She's also directed at Yale Rep and Sacred Heart University, but will be returning to Philly this spring as the programs and production manager at Painted Bride Arts Center, after mounting the world premiere of Unbecoming Tragedy by Terrence Riggins at Long Wharf Theater in New Haven. So let's all welcome Cheyenne.
Unmute. I was hitting unmute while it was like the host is asking you to unmute. And I was like, uh-oh. Thank you so much for that introduction. You all are very kind. Also to say, in the spirit, just like Sissy, I may not have a dog barking, but I do have a toddler who's very curious. And he may just climb my body during the speech and wave. And we yes and that, right, directors? But thank you all. And before I get into my listen, she needs her spectacles now, friend. I would love to say that it's very exciting to see what you shared, Sissy, and thank you for sharing the vision. And Vanessa, you hit the nail on the head. Sometimes leadership needs leaders. Sometimes leadership needs help. Sometimes we need community, and that is exactly what I experienced. So I am humbled to have been asked. Thank you, Christine, for reaching out. Humbled to have been asked to speak at this event. When I think of the legacy of Directors Gathering, I think of a space where it's okay to not have all the answers. And it's okay to admit that there are areas of growth yet discovered. As directors, we're often the keepers of everyone's answers. And on every DG event, cohort, workshop, in everyone I've been a part of, it's been a celebration of questions. It's been a celebration of process, thought partnership, in a way that like egos are kind of left at the door. And we all just are like, yeah, we're all directing a thing. So I don't have to explain to you that I'm in rehearsal. I want to get into like this that I experienced in rehearsal. And like, has anyone else had to do? How'd you do it? Right. And that's been a beautiful and invaluable part of link in this belt that I have called directing. The wisdom and passion of all the artists I've met have definitely informed how I show up for others in this work, and moreover, how I show up for myself and the dinosaur that's growling in the background. Jill Harrison and Tom had an unwavering passion to support directors, and look how that spark has grown into a mighty flame. Listen, he's the product of a tech gone awry, okay? Had I not been stressed, I may not have had a child. So thanks, DG, for supporting directors like me. Oh my goodness. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh,
Oh no. Maybe she'll come back. Oh no.
I think Cheyenne might have gotten frozen, but I think she left us on a tantalizing note. So,
It was
so
really
maybe,
good.
yeah.
The arc of that was
So,
really something.
I mean, like a director, just leave him wanting more.
It's true.
Um,
So
okay, here
good.
comes Cheyenne again. All
The
right.
drama. My computer shut down. Oh my God.
It was
What a
amazing.
cliffhanger.
It was amazing.
Um, and I will keep it short. Oh my goodness. I think my phone with my notes was resting on the power button. I like shut the phone off. Anywho, just to say, Sissy, the torch is being passed to you, and I can't wait to see how you build on this legacy. And from what you've shared, I know it will be an exciting journey. I am very interested in the success of DG, and now that I'm returning to Painted Bride Arts Center, and I've been virtually onboarding through the month of March, and I'll be boots on the ground in May. I'm really excited to dive deeper into ways that um, I can create pathways for DG and Painted Bride to be in relationship with each other. So for all of us, we've all done improv at one point in our careers. Grab a glass. If you don't have a glass in front of you, make one up. Give us a flask. Give us a goblet. Give us something to cheers to another 11 plus seasons with DG. May the road be blessed and fruitful, and may directors continue to benefit from this community that you have built, Jill, and what you are continuing to build, Sissy, and the folks on this team. So cheers. Ooh, strong. Back to you, TG.
Incredible. Amazing. Who had the confetti? Steve, you had confetti. That was incredible. I need to get that. I'm always trying to throw parties online, and this is how to do it. The party has arrived. Thank you, Cheyenne, for those beautiful words. Just hearing the impact like over again and again that DG has had on individuals, but again on the wider world, expanding through DG. So we've talked a lot. We've talked a lot here on the DG side. We're so excited now at this part of the evening to open the floor to you all for a conversation. When it comes to DG's vision and the transition, what's on your mind? What are you curious about? Are there any questions that pop up into your heads, your hearts, or is there anything that you simply just want to respond to? This is a casual conversation, so and there's not many of us, so please unmute and express how you feel. Or yeah, this is your time to ask Cece or any of us things about DG and DG's future. not a single curiosity.
I can just say, I know that I did the presentation, so I don't have a question, but I am like, I got really excited. There's so many things that I had to like cull this down to. Like I just have so many I have feelings about, like Jill, you getting emotional tonight. I was getting emotional writing things and thinking about, because it, forced me to reflect on my own journey with Directors Gathering, which started when I was in school, and Jill did a presentation about DG that I was interested about. And I think I had suggested that you write a white paper about it because I was in school and that felt like it, sounded smart. But I will say one of the things that I got really excited about was thinking about this consulting service and what it could be. Like there's so many possibilities beyond what this pilot that I presented here, right? I mean, we're not calling it a mentorship, but in many ways it has elements of that. And I think it could also be an opportunity for us to explore what that means. I know I've had conversations with folks about that in this space and in other spaces. And, I'm really excited to explore what this could look like. And also, just thinking about that I don't know if that's really like available to folks, right? So part of that idea came from being in being in DG and being a part of conversations where people need things and have expressed their needs for things, but also looking at spaces outside of DG, looking at just, forums that theater directors are, putting their questions in, and some of the same ones popping up over and over again. And it's like, this feels like something that we could possibly address. And so, not to say that the consulting service is the answer, but I think it's an answer in a system that doesn't feel designed to support in some ways. And so I'm really hopeful for that. And I'm looking forward to collaborating with some directors on developing that and contracting folks to be consultants for that. So yeah, I just wanted to offer that. I was very excited thinking about that, and I hope that it can be something that is beneficial.
I mean, to your point, I thought that was really innovative because sometimes folks struggle with finding mentors or identifying mentors in their world, or maybe they feel like they're imposing on people or they're asking of them, for free labor in a way that might, that might be, oh, I don't want to bother them, right? So often, like, we get the, I don't want to bother that person, or if you think someone just looks shiny to you. And I think being intentional about, no, we're going to pair you with someone, and yes, there's a fee for their time, but that's someone who's going to show up for you in your process is huge. Is huge, so I think that's beautifully innovative. I haven't heard of a model like that before, and I'm excited to see how it develops.
Yeah, it exists for playwrights. There are spaces for playwrights that have it. But I'm sure folks do it like you can hire me as, sole proprietor to do that for you as a director. But, if we can create a model that helps folks, facilitates that for folks who maybe want to do it, but they don't want to do all the administrative parts of it, we could work on that.
Mhm. The two parts that I find to be so exciting as well, to speak to CCDU and Cheyenne, your offer of the sense of the innovative quality to it, is that there's mutual investment. And I think that there's something really important for Cece, were you and I were talking about this, like other people have life coaches? Yes, this was yesterday, right? We were talking about like that, athletes have coaches, right? And also there's health coaches and mindfulness all kinds of coaches, right, in different sectors. And once if you're in a program at whatever level you're at, or a fellowship, or like there are finite experiences, right? They end. And usually it's on you as sole freelancer to figure out what to do next. And yeah, and I think also the specificity to it too, right? Like, so DG is the perpetual ghost light and the community that you can come in and out of, but something that could offer the sense of we need coaches. Yes. Because I'm even thinking about, with thinking of Parent Artist Advocacy League, and so Cheyenne with your kiddo and other directors, I have a kid. Stella has been the OG mascot for DG for the 10 years of her life. But managing, even like thinking about directors who are parent directors, right? Of like what that experience has been like for them, managing, union contracts when you're trying to bring your kid with you, like just all of those things. Or even just resources. Like, some of us know that PAL exists, some of us don't. So speaking of, the dinosaur's back. But yes, I think there's something to be said about that mutual investment, and then also the specificity of what you could be receiving. So I'm here for it.
It's just exciting to hear all these levels that that DG I think is going to target. We've like here's the one-on-one level, but even this group thing, being able to create group community. Again, other industries, they have social clubs. They got the country club. The country club serves a purpose, where you meet people, you meet your peers, you talk to them about sensitive matters, or a bar. Who we have in Philly, we have that what's it called? The Reporters Bar. I forget the name of it. But all
Plays
the
and players?
is that these players? Where or it's there's a
There's a reporters bar?
yeah, there's a bar that is just for reporters, and it's members only. You need a card, or you
Get
need an
out.
invite, and they all go there and they talk shop. And yeah,
Whoa.
it's what's it called? I think the Playwrights Happy Hour is hosted there on is like in that space, but like it's actually a bar for like media people, media reporters,
Interesting.
right? It's super cool. And that always like got me thinking. I was like, these spaces are really important. They're exclusive, but the exclusivity, the focus, the narrowing of scope, is important. It's like creates a bedrock of that's where the community comes from. That's the feeling. So, the fact that an early career director can find a space like that in DG, can get in early. You don't have to wait for the fellowship. You don't have to wait for the scholarship. You don't have to wait for your first regional debut, to get in on the ground floor and find support. There's an opportunity right here. It's awesome. I think we're making magic, y'all, together. Yeah, everyone in this space is part of it. Well, it doesn't seem like there's any more questions, but if hopefully this has gotten your mind perking. Oh, do we have a comment, question, other things? Yes, please go ahead.
Hey, Carl.
So, I just wanted to reach out, DG Gathering. I've been only a member for a few years, but I just wanted to say that it goes beyond the Philadelphia region, because I'm actually down in the DC area. But I do work up in the area occasionally. But I wanted to just say that I love the idea that it has expanded, and I would love to see it expand beyond Philadelphia a little bit more. I've reached out to people, other directors down here, to try to join, because I think there's a lot of value. I am not personally aware of any other groups dedicated to directors. And just in my experiences, I'm sure most of you have experienced, there's not a whole lot of support for us. There's a lot of actors groups, there's a lot, all these other areas in our theater and our community, but not a whole lot of support for directors. And I do really appreciate, Jill, what you've created. And I'm very happy to see CC continue this forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. I will say, we DG is, primarily focused on Philly because that's where we are. And, technology has allowed us this to have this like global potential and impact, which is why you're here, Carl, right? Part of the reason why you're here. And that happened, during the pandemic, we were pivoting like a lot of people. I mean, we've never had our own physical space, right? Which long-term vision, which I'm happy to talk about long-term vision. I've often talked about conversation pit, but I literally drew a picture of like the building, and it has a garden. Because I do imagine that there is a garden
Of course.
with edible and non-edible items, right? Anyway, so what I will say is that like, this building up of the infrastructure is to give us this stability and this foundation so that we can sustainably expand even more than we have been able to. But we will continue to, keep our folks who are across the country who have been engaging with us in all the ways that still make sense, right? So that's why the Salon series is going to be virtual this summer, right? We're going to keep that. The convening, making that a hybrid experience so we can, keep people engaged. And yeah, really wanting to expand that as we go further out. But thank you, Carl.
Amazing. So before we were getting towards the end of our time together, which makes me sad because now I'm like, oh, this was really great. And I was like, before I go into like the directing hole again, I was like, oh, it's really nice to be with all of you. I'd rather do that instead. But I want to pass the mic to Gerald, another longtime directing gathering um, friend and fellow. Gerald is a director, puppeteer, African American theater archivist. His recent directing projects include Fat Ham and Blues for an Alabama Sky at Virginia Stage Company. Round of applause for that. It's really amazing. So excited.
Oh,
What?
I'm just, I lead with being black. So blue fat was for Alabama Sky Virginia. It's like, oh yeah. In case you weren't sure, there's some other stuff in there, but like,
I picked those. It was strategic. It was strategic. But but what's it called? Has also received his MFA at directing at Northwestern, and is a curator and creator of Black Theater Vinyl Archive on Instagram. So very busy. So I want to close this out with another toast, because why not keep the party going? So I'll take it away.
thank you, Vanessa. And thank you, Christine, for the invitation. It all right. Keeping it brief. So my experience with DG goes back a number of years, not to the very beginning, but around 2017-ish, 2016. When after I finished the program, I was teaching at Franklin and Marshall in Lancaster. And that was the first time I interacted with Jill and Jack, who, some of the founders, of the program. And I had been aware of it through social media, but didn't really know what it's like. And some of you have heard me say this before. One of the reasons why there are two reasons. The biggest one is related to Jill and her ability to build trust. And to not just say the things that people say in order to try to compel people to come and join an organization or donate money, but to actually follow through. And I'm a lifelong theater performance person. I went to Freedom Theater in Philly when I was a little kid, and then spent my entire adolescence and teenage years touring in choirs and performing with community spaces and in high school, and then going into undergrad. So I've been around theater talk a long time. And it took me way too long to understand that when people said that they were a friend. I'm actually going to work on a book. It's called The Theater Talk Thesaurus, and it really breaks down what people mean when they say friend. Sometimes they mean colleague. Sometimes they mean contemporary. So, you know what I mean? Sometimes they mean, I don't know, if he gets too close, I'll torpedo him. But if he doesn't get too, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So, Jill, you know, I can be a tough nut to crack. And Jill really won me over. Not just Jill, you know, Tom, Brett, Cece, but Jill was always kind of, you know, pushing that narrative forward. And her ability, once I realized, like, oh, she really means it. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, all these people really mean it. Wow. Okay, cool. Because vulnerability is not easy, obviously, but still. And being open, it's always a risk letting your guard down, especially in our industry where everybody's your friend. So I really value the relationship that I built. I had the honor, and I use that word intentionally, of serving on DG's board for 2 years, to be one of the people, you know, making dinner while we talk about, you know, how do we figure out the salon? How do we figure out a convening? Or what does DG mean this year? Because as time moves on, you realize that the community of Philadelphia, beyond building on top of that, once the pandemic hit, and it became like people from, you know, Arizona were reaching out to Directors Gathering, going from, you know, producing festivals to saying, well, we're going to pull back from that. All that to say, having grown up in Philadelphia, having moved or transitioned from performing to directing, I remember what it was like before DG. And it's not easy now, but it was so much harder. There was no community outside of a graduate program, right? There was no community for freelance directors, period. And you had to figure it out. And, you know, you email all the people, and if they get back to you, cool. And if they don't get back, you got to figure something out. I have staged shows at, not Painted Pride, the community center in Rittenhouse Square. I forget, the Equitable Society. What is it? I can't remember the name of it, but I'll text it to you all. Anyway, I've done the church basement thing and, you know, the various society things. So when DG became a thing and they invited me to become a part of that, it really did mean a lot. We say it all the time that it is lonely to be a director. You know what I mean? It's one of the reasons why I actually like co-directing. You're not alone. What if there were a community of directors who understood that and wanted to be together because of that? Because you don't have to be alone. You don't have to figure things out all by yourself all the time. What if there were a group of people that were like, we're going to reach out to Liz Diamond. We're going to reach out to Bartlett Sher. We're going to reach out to Ruben Santiago Hudson. We're going to reach out to Ozzie Jones. We're going to reach out to people who have been doing this work on a number of levels across spectrums. We will make it affordable. If you cannot afford it, we will figure something out. The humanity and compassion and dedication that lives at the core of this organization is unparalleled. And that's one of the reasons why anytime I can show up for DG, we have laughed together, we have raged at the universe together, and we have wept together. We are a community. So thank you, Jill, for everything that you've done, for everything that you've helped build. Thank you for changing my life. And teaching me that it is okay to be open. It is okay. You can let that guard down. You don't have to carry that with you. I remember the first time I met Cece. This is going to be short. White Dog Cafe on Penn's campus. And you were so open and curious and passionate. And it felt like I had known you all of my life. And I had just met you. Throughout my time on the board and my time with DG, you were always there. We artists talking about stuff. And you're the one that's like, how do we figure this out? How do we figure this out? Here's some details. Here's some policy you can attach to that. Mm-hmm. I would have been happy regardless of who, I would have been happy regardless of who had, taken this forward. But the fact that it's UCC means the world to me only because I have seen you walk the walk. I have seen you hold people with compassion, even when it was hard. And honestly, I look forward to every opportunity I have to reconnect with you and with the organization of DG. I love this community. That's why I keep coming back. I love this community. I have so much love and respect for all of you. And so here's to doing it for a few more years. Here's to keep going. Here's to keep pushing. Because it's always going to be hard. It was hard when Obama was president. Now it's harder. You know what I mean? It was challenging when Biden was president. Now it's more challenging. Mm-hmm. But if we got this, we got something. Mm-hmm. And that's enough. Thank you all. Thank you for inviting me, and just all love as we move forward, and just CC here. Thank you.
Here. Imaginary toast. Yes. Here. Jane. I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, that was a whole snack. That was a whole meal. Thank you so much for those words. I'm deeply inspired by all the bright potential that DG is striving towards. There's just so much hope for the future. So I'm so glad that you all came tonight. I'm so glad that you've decided to be part of our community. And if you haven't been before, we're so excited to welcome you in. We can't have community without all of you. There's, as Cece said, there's so many ways that you can get involved and stay part of the group, by signing up for a free membership, or donating to support our work, or considering board service, or pledging long-term support, or just being a connector to other different places and organizations and people. We're excited to create our own little woven tapestry of artistry and people. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming tonight. Again, reach out if you have any questions or comments. I know that Cece would be happy to hear from you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you all so much. And yes, I am open. Please, very real about connecting me to folks. No idea is too crazy. We may not be able to do it, but I want to hear it anyway. So
awesome. Thanks so much, Cece. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Christine and Cheyenne and Darrell. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Y'all are wonderful.
everyone.
take care.
Have a great night.
Night.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.